evening. My name is Bakeyah Nelson, and I was going to say that I'm a public health analyst with Harris County Public Health, which is where I previously worked up to August 1st, but I'm now with the University of UH-Clearlake. But my background is in public health, and I'm here tonight to talk about why walking is important for the public health of our community. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the health of Harris County communities, the benefits from a public health perspective of what we hope to gain by creating more walkable environments, and finally to talk about an initiative called Healthy Living Matters that's focused on addressing the childhood obesity epidemic in Harris County. I just want to highlight that this is not an actual model of physical inactivity. If it was, it would look a lot more complicated than this. But I just wanted to highlight for all of you that there are a number of factors that influence physical activity behavior. So the built environment is just one, and that's what we're focused on tonight. But things such as culture, race, ethnicity, the policy environment, all of these factors influence whether people walk and how much they walk. So neighborhoods are really where health is created. And so within your neighborhood, you can have features within that community that either promote health or take away from health. And so I just want to highlight the fact that all of these factors come together to really create health status. And physical activity is just one behavior among a range of behaviors that influence our health. So physical inactivity among Houston adults. 50% of Houstonians are physically inactive. Does anyone know what the physical activity recommendation is for adults?
30 minutes a day.
More than that.
It is more than that.
What was that?
30 minutes a day, 3 times a week.
30 minutes a day, 3 times a week. That would be 90 minutes. It's higher.
An hour a day.
An hour a day is, yes, for children. Well, the physical activity recommendation for adults is, now I'm blanking out. It's actually 2.5 hours a week. So 30 minutes a day, 5 days per week. Okay? So 50% of us are not getting the physical activity that we need. And so just to highlight this map is from the Health of Houston survey that was done by UT School of Public Health. And what UT School of Public Health did was to break down Harris County into 28 different communities to be able to start to monitor the health status at a sub-county level. And so what you'll notice from these maps, and the orange and red areas indicate higher rates of a particular indicator. So in this case, we're looking at physical inactivity. So your red and orange areas indicate areas where they're less physically active. Okay, so on these maps, pay attention to the red and orange areas. Here are diabetes diagnoses among Houston area adults. For Houston area, we have 11% of our population that has a diabetes diagnosis. However, we have some communities with 20%. 1 in 3 children born in 2000 is estimated to have diabetes, to be diagnosed with diabetes. High blood pressure. The Houston area rate for high blood pressure is about 30%. So 1 in 3 people in the Houston area have high blood pressure. Now the reason why I'm focused on these specific health indicators are because these are all health indicators that can actually be addressed by walking and engaging in physical activity. And here's obesity. And again, Houston area is around 30%. So I will now focus on children. And we see that the difference is that it looks like children in the outer areas are more inactive than the adults. Right? A little bit of a different pattern for children. But for children, it's estimated that 77% are not getting their physical activity. And then finally, childhood obesity in Harris County. The Harris County average for childhood obesity for ages 5 to 17 is estimated to be about 44%. That's roughly about 400,000 children in the Houston area. And just to put that into perspective for you all, that's roughly the size of the city of Miami. And finally, just to look at mortality. In these maps, I just wanted to make sure you all kept paying attention. So I changed the colors. So your green and yellow areas are your areas that are experiencing higher rates of mortality. And again, the reason that I'm focusing on these is because premature death can be addressed or prevented by walking and physical activity as one factor again. So it's not the only factor, but a very significant one. Heart disease-related mortality. Now the pattern that I see when I look at these maps is that similar communities keep popping up on higher rates of disease and higher rates of death. And then finally, diabetes. So just to touch on a few benefits of, from a public health perspective, a few benefits of walking. Again, physical activity. We used to believe that in order to gain the health benefits from exercise, that it had to be vigorous and intense. And in fact, we're learning that that's not the case. That you can actually improve your health by walking 30 minutes a day, and it doesn't have to be all at one time. You can actually walk in 10-minute sessions throughout your day and still gain the health benefits from walking. And so why is that important as it relates to the built environment? It's important because if we can create walking opportunities, some of the things that Clark mentioned, if workers can walk throughout the day to different destinations that they may have to go to, they can actually fit that activity in during their day, and they won't have to carve out time to, say, go to a gym, if they can, or to fit it in at a different time of day. And so it becomes a routine part of the day versus looking at it as something an extra additional task that you have to complete. Injury prevention. The leading cause of death among 15 to 24-year-olds is motor vehicle accidents. And so by creating more walking opportunities, hopefully we can reduce motor vehicle crashes. But keep in mind that when we create these walking opportunities, they have to be done safely. And so we know that from a built environment standpoint, that 40% of pedestrian fatalities occur where there is no crosswalk nearby. So when we build our communities and when we want sidewalks, we also have to build in the safety features that make it more safer walking. Air quality. The more we can substitute car trips for walking trips, we stand to gain in air quality. A lot of the Houston area air quality challenges have to do with vehicle travel. And so if we can create a more walkable environment, we can actually improve our air quality. And then finally, access to essential destinations. It's critical that all of these destinations that are essential to everyday life are within walking distance or biking distance or available via public transit. We have a significant portion of the population who cannot drive. We also have folks who live in communities that do not have access to healthy food. we also have people living in communities that do not have access to primary care. There's one not too far from here that is a city of 10,000 residents and does not have a primary care facility or a primary care doctor to serve the community. And so all of these are essential destinations within communities that need to be there in order to support the health of the community. So finally, I'll talk a little bit about Healthy Living Matters, which is an initiative that was started 2.5 years ago to look at how we could develop policy recommendations to improve opportunities for physical activity and healthy eating, not just among Houston children, but just among families in Houston. I will play the video and then talk a little bit more about what came out of that project. So out of the Healthy Living Matters initiative, were developed 16 policy priorities. And what Healthy Living Matters really did over the course of 2 years was to really assess what was going on, what were the challenges to healthy eating and physical activity in communities throughout Harris County. And the recommendations that are in the community action plan that you see there are based on the findings from those different assessments and also policy scans that were conducted in order to inform our thinking about what policy strategies could possibly work in the Houston-Harris County area. So I encourage all of you to visit the Healthy Living Matters website and see how you can get involved. And finally, well, not finally, it's my second to last slide. I really think we have a responsibility to our children to create healthy environments, and that we all need to play a role and get engaged and not have this be the first generation to live a shorter life than we anticipate. And finally, I will leave you with a quote from the Institute of Medicine.